Hey, friends. Welcome to the Now Friend podcast. I want to invite you to be a part of my friend zone. And so I want this to be a safe place for us to have community, friendship, support, and everything in between. Now, friend, are you following me yet? Did you subscribe to this channel? Take this time now to go to TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram and follow all of my pages so that you can definitely and officially be a part of the friend zone. You're going to love it here. And while you're there on my social media platforms, take this time to wish your girl a happy birthday. Because if you are watching this right now, it is officially March 29th and I am 35. So wish me a happy birthday. Make sure you follow all of my pages at NowFriend89. And also definitely make sure that you subscribe to this channel and click the bell so that you can get all of the notifications once we are live and posted. So friend, I'm sure you're wondering how we got here. Like, what brought us here on today? Why a podcast? Why now? What you gonna be talking about? What is we doing, honey? How we gonna be hanging out? All of the things, right? And so I want to start by just saying um, that God brought me here. Like I have trusted my steps to be ordered by God this far. And one of the things that He has impressed upon me a long time ago is a podcast. And I've tried a few different ways and a few different avenues, and it just didn't work out, unfortunately. But one of the things that I promised God this year was that I wanted to practice radical obedience. And so here we are. Like we are going full forth into purpose, into promise, into all of the things that God is leading us to. And so I had kind of forgotten about the podcast and all of those things. And sometime last year, about last summer, God stopped me in the middle of my calm life at the time and said, the things that I've sown in you have purpose, and I need the harvest from those seeds. And so I was really shocked because I really feel like no two things in my life are ever aligned and matching at the same time. And so, um, like I felt like everything was kind of lining up. Like I was getting comfortable in work because I had just started a new role maybe a year and a half before. So I was just really getting into that role and learning and doing all of the things that would cause that role to be successful. And so I just felt like I was really getting comfortable there and finding my purpose in that. And then I had started a new role at church, and I felt like I was really getting comfortable there as well, like just really learning what that role would entail, what things I needed to be watchful and mindful of, and then kind of getting into maybe not a coasting space, but at least a space where I knew I was doing it right. So that's why I was struggling in that season, and I was kind of getting into a space where I was like, okay, I can. This is manageable, right? A manageable space. Let me say that. Never calm, but manageable. And then, even my family, like just making sure that they're situated and we're situated and getting into a good space at home. I was really just in all areas, right? Those are my three main facets of life. And in those areas, I felt like I was really just calm, And so in that time, I just got into a routine of doing. These things need to be done, check. These things need to be done, check. Checking all the boxes. And when I was checking the boxes, God was just like, hey, tap, tap, tap on my shoulder. I still need those things. Like, I still need the seeds that I planted in you. They're going to sprout a great harvest. And, let's get working on it, right? And so um, I had a little bit of culture shock, like, what? Like, I don't have time, right? Because even though I was successful, or not successful, managing, okay? Even though I was successfully managing all of the aspects of my life, it was time consuming. Like, I just didn't have the time. I'm like, where am I going to get the time to record a podcast? Which, honey, it's been a week, okay? Like I've been on my way to this couch for 4 days and I'm just now making it. I'm just now kind of getting comfortable. So just what I thought, like, where am I gonna get this time from, God? Um, where am I going to get the time to start a podcast? Where am I going to get the time to edit a podcast and record a podcast and uh, write a podcast, scripted, think of ideas? Like, I just didn't have time for that. Like, I did not have the time. And so I'm like, Lord, you're going to have to show me the way, show me the ideas, give me the details because I just don't know or see where this information is going to come from. And secondly, who want to hear me anyway? You know, who wants to hear what I have to say? Who wants to hear what I've been through? Who want to know? You know? And so, I'll say honestly, this week I was having those same thoughts of, inadequacy and imposter syndrome, right? Like every time I came to record, like I was losing the thoughts, the ideas, I was losing the ambition. I couldn't find me. Like I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it as me. I don't want to be fake. I don't want to be phony. I want to do it as genuinely authentic me. And I just couldn't. Like I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't find it. And so I'm grateful to God that, even when I'm feeling those moments and in those seasons, like He always sends me a reminder of what He's called me to and what He's purposed me for. And so shout out to my little cousin. She was texting me earlier this week, just at sporadic times and stuff like that. And she had just said, I'm so excited about your podcast. And I'm ready to hear this. I was just telling her some of the feelings I was having, like some of the anxiety that I was feeling about it, and just like the nervousness and how the thoughts wouldn't come and all of that kind of stuff. And she brought up a status that I made. I don't even know how long ago, right? Like I had forgot I even said it, and she was like, I remember this status that you posted that said play more and press harder, and so that was encouraging to me, right? And not only was it encouraging, but it was a reminder, one, that God hears me, and two, that He's gonna give me what I need, right? And the other thing that I was doubting is like, who wants to hear what I have to say? How effective will it be? Does anybody even care? And so, hearing her say that about a status that I posted, I don't even know when, like, it resonated with me in that way because it helped me to understand that she heard me, and that was a status. Like it was a Facebook status at some point. And so that was really good. It was really encouraging. I was really excited. Encouraged. Excited wouldn't be the word. I was really encouraged by what she said, and at the time that she said it, I really needed it. So shout out to you, little cousin. Um so yeah, so that's what brought me here. That's how I'm here. That's why I'm here. Like, hopefully you enjoy the journey and the adventure that is the Now Friend podcast. And, I can't wait to see where God's going to take it, what He's going to do, how He's going to do it. But I fully trust Him. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my title. And so I was going back and forth between, I don't even remember the other title, but it's been a long journey, just kicking and screaming on my way here. Okay, like so I don't even remember what my other titles were or prospects or anything, but I was talking to a friend, my friend, and we were talking about the podcast and stuff, like because I actually started socializing it. Because for a second I had said, yes, God, I'll do it, but I had told none of my inner circle friends, like not a single solitary one of them. And I meant to do that. Like I meant to keep it that way, honey. I meant to take it until I was up on their screen, like, hey, y'all, like and subscribe, okay? Because my friends will definitely hold me accountable. And I wasn't really trying to do that. I wasn't trying to be accountable to this. I had said yes to God, but I was like, I'll just kind of sponsor and till I fall into it and all of that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, so we were on the phone and we were talking, and like I had finally started saying, God is telling me or leading me to do a podcast, and this is how I'm feeling about it. First of all, I was about to explode, like of anxiety and nervousness and just all of the things. I was just about to explode. I needed to start talking to somebody. I needed to get some support from my friends. I needed to get some guidance. I needed to stop leaning on my own understanding. Okay. Because that's what I was doing, and it just became a major thing. So I had started talking to my friends about it, and she was like, we were talking, and she said something. I don't know what she said. And I was like, "Now, friend, you can't do that, or you can't say that, or whatever." And she was like, "That should be the name of your podcast." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yes, that's it. Like, that's definitely the name, because listen, I will now friend a friend, okay?" And so that is, so I was like, it fit. It was just a good fit. Anytime I'm about to have a conversation hard or indifferent, I'm always like, now friends, you can't do that, or we can't roll like that, or now you friend. You need to be studying your Bible, or whatever the case is. And so that's how I came to the title of Now Friends. Um, and so I thought that was very fitting. Additionally, I have this burning passion for friendship. Like, um, I haven't always been that way. I haven't always desired and yearned for friendship or multiple friendships or anything like that. Like, you couldn't tell me. Like, I have um 9, I think, just thinking off the top of my head, 9 close friends, like, where I'm telling them all of my information. I'm telling you what's going on. Like, I can call any of them for any reason. They all have different personalities. It makes my friend circle very well rounded. So, I have a younger friend that thinks she's all of our moms. You know who you are. It was so, but yeah, I mean, I have a ton of friends that I would never have pegged myself to be a person that has multiple friendships and is excited about them. Like, I love them. Like, I love them like they are my birth sisters. Um, like, blood couldn't make us any closer. We fight like it, okay? And we bounce back like it. Like, it's like nothing ever happened. Like, so are we going to eat or not? Like, you still gonna be having attitude, or are we going to go eat? Like, that's how we out here living. And so I enjoy it. Like, I love it. I love the accountability that comes with it. Um, Take that back. I don't always love the accountability that comes with it, but it comes. Okay, whether I love it or not, it's happening. And so, but yeah, I enjoy the community and it's like a family, like a small family. And yeah, I could never have imagined that it would be this way. And so I have a passion for friendship. I want people to develop friendships. I want to be a part of people developing friendships. Um, of people healing from broken friendships, developing and growing in the way that God intended friendship to be. And so when I think about my history with friendship, I think about um, the attacks on friendship. Like, I feel like my mind has been programmed to think that friendship is not a good thing, right? Like, in school, if you were friendly, so to speak, they would call you friendly. Like, what's wrong with being friendly? I mean, honestly, like, if you have more than one friend, or if would talk to everybody or all of that kind of stuff, they would call you friendly, like, with a bad connotation. And so, I think in that and in growing up, you sometimes feel like, oh, I don't want to be too friendly, or people take advantage of friendly people, and things like that. And so I don't want those things to be, what friendship, or what the front of the forefront of friendship is. Um, I know some people have a mentality of no new friends, no, nobody, no new people coming in my circle. and all of that kind of stuff. But in my experience, it's been a great, let me say, it has always been a great experience, right? But I think friendship used in the right context, in the right space, in the right frame of mind can definitely be um, amazing. It can definitely be amazing. And so I think people get hurt in friendships by broken people. Hurt people are gonna hurt people. And so I think that's one important part about friendship is making sure that you have that accountability and making sure that you have the space to be open and vulnerable with each other. To say, girl, that's not how you do that. Now, friend, that's not how you say that. Like, hold on, homie. Who you talking to? Like, fix that tone, fix that face. Because listen, my face has not been delivered yet, okay? So my attitude is a slight notch better, but my face still needs to be on the altar, close, covered in the blood, okay? And so, but yeah, I think that people have experienced different situations by broken people, and because they've experienced situations by broken people, instead of having the tools and the resources to mend those fences and come back and unpack and evaluate what's happening, you would just rather say, the fire is hot. I don't want none. I don't want to put my hand on the fire of friendship anymore. I'm good. And I get it, right? Like, I've been hurt by friends before. One of my closest friends now uh, hurt me really badly, and but we were able to recover. And I think now our friendship is stronger than ever. And so I think we're human, right? We're human. We're broken people, and um, again, broken people hurt people. Like, but I think the biggest thing and the best thing is to be able to acknowledge and not be robbed, right? Like, not let pride rob you of uh, a God ordained friendship. Like, just like God creates spouses for you, or other relationships, like friendships are one of those things that God has created for us to benefit from, and for us to grow from, and for us to learn better habits. And so I think if we never learn to communicate at home growing up, where we never learn to express our feelings, our emotions, then those things come out in the wrong place and on the wrong people. Like, they are misguided and misdirected. And so I think because of that, that's how some of us end up hurt in friendship. And because we got burned by the last friendship, it's like, no, I don't want none. Okay. Like, I don't want none. Do you want some of this, Debo? Nope. Like, I don't want any of it. And so yeah, I think it's important, to recognize kind of where those feelings come from, how to recover from them, uh, how to heal those wounds that you had, and work on those, and then grow from those situations and circumstances. So that's that's kind of where my title comes from, my passion in friendship, and because I always say male friends. And so, uh, well, my topic that I wanted to talk about today is really fitting, honestly, in the circumstance, in the time, in the season that we're in, that I'm in, rather. And maybe you in the season too, honey. And so, it's just confidence. And so, for maybe about 3 months of this, oh, it's almost April, and so for almost 4 months, I started doing a study on what God says about confidence in December. And because I was really struggling, like, with feeling confident in myself and my ability and uh, my talent, my gifts, like, I was just struggling. Like, um, I'm an overachiever, and I probably should unpack that. I do try. So I want to understand why I have this desire to overachieve on my goals and all of these things. And so I tend to be my toughest critic. Nothing is ever good enough. My success, my goals, my ambitions, like, it's always higher, higher, and more. And I think that's okay. but I wanted to come from the right place, right? Like I wanted to be driven by, you know, God planted seeds versus um me just always feeling inadequate. And I think right now, um, that is just me feeling inadequate all the time. Like I'm never good enough. I'm not a good enough wife. I'm not a good enough mother. I'm not a good enough employee. I'm not a good enough volunteer. Like I'm not a good enough woman. I'm not a good enough friend. Like all of the things. And like I'm always overly analyzing myself, trying to figure out like, how to be better, why I'm not as good as I feel like I should be. So I set the bar pretty high for myself. And so I started doing this study on confidence in December. And so I wanted to share some of my points. And so the one of the scriptures that I had found was Jeremiah 17, 7 through 8, and this is the English Standard Version. It says, "Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. He is like a tree planted by water that sends out its roots by the stream and does not fear when heat comes, for its leaves remain green, and is not anxious in the year of drought, for it does not cease to bear fruit." And so that was really good for me in terms of confidence. I think like generally, right? I'm first of all, I'm a church kid, okay? So generally, I associate pride with being proud of yourself, like proud of your accomplishments and things like that. And so I want to do a study on pride actually. So I probably would put that in my notes to do a study on pride. Just because I think for me, I feel as though I've never been really confident in what I do or my abilities because I associate confidence with pride, right? Like, I feel like confident people, have their chests puffed out. Like the Bible says, don't do that, And so I feel like that people, that's what confidence is. And I think um, that my viewpoint on confidence comes from a misdirected, misguided space. And so I really enjoy that scripture in Jeremiah. And so I have, uh, because of that scripture, I kind of transfigured the word of it. And I changed it from confident to Godfidence. And so I just feel like if my confidence comes from a space where God has directed me to go, where God has commissioned me, strengthened me, provided for me to go and grow and be successful, like why wouldn't I be confident? And so I was preparing for to minister at church in December, and that's kind of where this study came from. Um, and so I was just overwhelmed, like overwhelmed with nervousness and anxiety and all of the things. Right? I feel like nervousness is a natural feeling, but like anxiety is it's a no. Like it shuts you down, it shuts your emotions down. You can't process, you can't think. And so it was just the anxiety that was like killing me. And so when I was praying about it, like God, I truly believe that you've called me to do this. And I feel like you have, commissioned me to do this. You have provided for me. You have ordered my steps, ordained me to do this. This is what I feel like I'm walking in my purpose. And so if I feel like I'm walking in my purpose, why do I feel this anxiety? Why do I feel this anxiousness? And um, and so he confirmed, like, that he has called me to do this, that he has called me to ministry and he has called me to speak and all of that stuff. And chastised me a little bit, but then God be stepping on my toes. He don't care. He don't care nothing about my little toes, okay? And so he said, I called you to this, and it is a slap in my face for you to not feel confident in something that I had strengthened you to do. It's like you don't feel like it's like you know what God can do, but you just don't feel like he can do it through you. And so that diminishes his power, his sovereignty. Like it diminishes that when you feel like, oh, okay, I see you, you know, making celebrities and making, you know, big time speakers and podcast hosts and preachers, teachers, uh, friendships and successful business entrepreneurs and all of that stuff. Like I see you doing all of that kind of stuff, but not trusting him to do it for you. Like he's not powerful enough to do it for you, then that's a slap in God's face. Like, um, and I know for my friends, like I pray for them. You know, I pray for them. I pray for a lot of people. Like pray for what what I just pray for everybody. Like when people are asking or saying things, like I pray and with my whole heart I believe that you can be healed. And with my whole heart, I believe that you can be free and you can be delivered and you can be, your marriage can be restored and your heart can be fixed and your mind can be regulated. Like with my whole heart, I will pray that thing, believe that thing, and I have seen it be done. Um, Now, when I'm praying for myself, so, okay, it's like, hey, hi, it's a little timid. I'm coming to you as humbly as I can, just trying to see if you wanna, if you can, and so but that's not what his word says. His word says that if you abide in me and I abide in you, that you can ask what you will and it shall be done. And so to believe that, I see you bring people out and change people's lives, but you can't change my life in that way. Or I think part of it is believing or wondering, like, will God use me? Like, does he want to use me? Why? Why does he want to use me? Um, why is my story important? Why do people care? Why would somebody care? You know what I'm saying? And the real reason is so that God can get the glory. Like you couldn't pay me to believe 10 years ago. Like I might even go back. Let me see, I'm 30. I'm about to be 35. Well, today, if you're watching, I'm 35. I'm 35, so if I go back 15 years, that makes me 20. So 15 years ago, like, there's no way that you could tell me that this is the life that I would be living, that I would be a believer, for one, that I would be married, that I would be a manager, that I would be serving at church faithfully, that I'd be a homeowner. Like, I barely had a home 15 years ago, and it was probably I didn't. But that'll be on the next podcast. Like, you just couldn't tell me that these things would be what they are. Like, that I mean, but dang show couldn't tell me I'd be sitting here talking to you on a podcast. Um, and so I think it is a slap in the face, right, to God to see like him bring you out, bring you up, elevate you, promote you, uh, and then be like, yeah, but that's that's as far as you gonna go. Like that's the greatest that you're gonna give. That's the most I'm gonna get out of you, And so I just feel like when we get to a point of complacency and comfortability, just at those moments, God is just like, "Nah, come on, let's go." Like, um, there was a meme like a while back where people was like, they was holding their hand down, like, wait, hold it, hold it, hold it, and then God snatching them to like, keep holding my hand, keep holding my hand, keep trusting me. And so that can be difficult sometimes because it doesn't always look like or feel like um success. Like it doesn't always look like and feel like I'm on the right path. But that scripture in Jeremiah, it says, you know, that he's like a tree planted by water that sends out its roots by the stream and does not fear when heat comes, for its leaves will remain green. And it is not anxious in the year of drought, for it does not cease to bear fruit. And that's good because everything else around you can be barren, dead, withering. And God's word says, you all cease to bear fruit. And it says that you'll send out your roots into the stream. That means that wherever you are planted, even if it's dry there, that your roots will still go and find water no matter what, no matter what's happening, no matter the drought, no matter the season, that God will make sure that you are watered and that you will not cease to bear fruit. And so I think if one person listens to this podcast, then the fruit is being bared. So, and I think that's the perspective that I'm learning daily to have, because the goal is for God to get the glory ultimately, um, and that's what I want. That's what I want my life to be like. I want my life to be a life and a lifestyle of God getting the glory. Like, so I've been in my current role for a while, and um, my I remember my current manager. She gave me some feedback. Shout out to her, girl, if you watching. She gave me some feedback. I don't know. I had just joined the team. I came from not outside of the company, but from outside of the department, and I was still learning a lot and everything. And she was like, "You know this stuff. Like, you need to be more vocal." I was just so like, um, I don't know, like worried, I guess, that I would get in a meeting and say the wrong thing. And I find myself, because I kind of work in a niche space, and so I find myself being the expert, okay, in the room, sometimes. And so when different questions are being asked, and they're relying on certain things, like I'm the source of knowledge in a lot of rooms and a lot of decision making rooms, and so that can be intimidating. And so, but she gave me some feedback. She's amazing. And she had said, you just need to be more vocal. Like, this stuff. You know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. Like, be more vocal in these meetings and in these calls and all of that kind of stuff. And I know that she intentionally stopped talking as much in those meetings so that I could step up and say something. So I appreciate her for pushing me in that way. Um, but I think one of the things is I just didn't have the confidence. Like, I didn't have the confidence um, that I should be there, that I deserve to be there, that I knew or had the knowledge to be there to make some of the decisions that were being made and all of that stuff. And so, it helps when you have people in your corner that can tell you, keep going. Like, this, you can do this. We can do this together. Well, I'm supporting you. I'm helping you. Like, it really helps in all aspects and all areas of life when you have that level of support. And I think, that friendship acts as that level of support that you need, in various aspects and areas. Like when you want to quit, when you want to give up, when you don't feel like you're enough, right? When you don't feel um, adequate, like friendship can be that for you. And so I think about myself a lot um when I got saved, right? Like I got saved at home. Um I had church hurt. Um a lot of church hurt. I didn't want no parts of church. Um and so when I got saved at home, I was like, I was raised in church. I was a church kid. I I lived in church, and my mom was definitely a part of the drag up to the church ministry. And so I was like, I know what to do. Like, I know, um, I know the hot seven sins, and I'm just gonna stay away from them. Um, and so uh, I didn't want to do any of that stuff. I didn't want to be in church. I didn't want to go to church and have church friends or any of that stuff. And so I was at home. And so because I wasn't going to church, I was spending a lot of time with God, like, feeling my take up. Like I didn't know what to do. I knew not to sin. I knew the hot seven sins not to do. So I was trying to stay away from those, but I was spending time with God. Like, um, my salvation story is uh, that I was minding my good unsafe business. Okay, checking with my man, now husband, but man at the you probably know. Um, so we were living together, and you know, like there was an instant, like an outside instance that I felt like I always had control over certain things. Maybe not always, but at that time, I felt like I had control. But this was something that I didn't have control over. I didn't know the answer, and so I was not a believer at the time in God, and so this circumstance in particular drove me to prayer. Like Like I said, I was a church kid. I was raised in church. And, when the Bible says, train up a child the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart. I believe that to be true. Like, I'm here and saved today because of my mom and my grandmother's prayers. And so, I went back to what I knew. Like, oh, this is way too big for me. So I need to go to go to the only person that I know that could possibly handle a circumstance of this magnitude. And so, I went to pray for a family member, and as I was praying for that family member, that prayer turned into a prayer for myself, and I don't even know what happened. Like I got up like 2 hours later. I've never been the same. And so, that was a life changing experience for me. So, but I was like, it didn't change the fact that I didn't want to go to church. Okay, I didn't want no parts of church people. I didn't want no parts of church antics. Um, I just did it. Like I was like, I want you, God, but I'm good on everything else. And I think my generation, I'm a millennial, so my generation, we had a mass exodus from church. Um, but the yearning for God is there. I do feel like God is drawing us back at our houses. Like we don't gotta be at the church to get saved, and so or to be drawn to God or to experience God or to have a relationship with God. And I think that's really important to remember and to know, because honestly, growing up, I thought you had to go to the altar to get saved. Like that was the only place that God heard you. Like in my mind, nobody else said that, but in my mind, I felt like, yep, that's definitely where you go for the Lord to hear you. He don't just hear you any and everywhere. You got to be on the altar. You need to be sitting on that front row, honey, because you ain't living your life right. I was not living my young teenage life right. Okay, I lived on the front row, and so yeah, I didn't want no part of it though. Like when I got saved, I was like, nah, no, I'm good. I want you, God, but none of the rest. Like, give me the meat, leave the bones, okay? Um, and so, like I was convicted though, afterwards. So I got saved. I was living my good, best saved life at home. I didn't feel like I needed a community. I didn't feel like I needed accountability because I knew the hot seven sins, okay? And I was gonna stay away from those, and that was gonna slide me on in the home plate. And so because of that, I just didn't want to go to church. And as I was praying though, one day God had said to me that if my daughter grew up and rejected him, that it would be because I didn't raise her that way. And so now the foundation, right, that I'm now relying on in my adult life, I'm now planning in my mind to deprive my daughter of that same foundation, right? And so I didn't want that, and so I began looking for a church home immediately. And eventually I landed at my current church, the Link Church in DeSoto, Texas, chapter out. And I landed at my current church, but I didn't want no friends. Like I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to church. They got children's church, so my kid can go there. She can develop her own relationship. I can get some word on Sundays, honey, and get up out of there. Like, get on home to the house and continue living my life. And so I was quick. And church is out. I'm out of here. Like, church is over. Give me my kid. I'm gone. I don't want to have no friends. Nope. Don't want to serve. Like, none of that. Like, I just want to get up out of here. And and so I think about like where I am now, and you know, people that do that. Like I can totally relate because I was working on the same lifestyle. Like I don't need any friends. I don't need any accountability. I don't need any connection. Like really, I'm like, I'm here on assignment. Okay. Like I'm here so my baby can get to know Jesus. Like that that's it. And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay. Like I don't wanna do no extra. I'm here so my child can get to know him and all of that. But I think that God will use the things that you are closest and connected to draw you nearer to him. And I know that he knew that that was important to me, and that she was important to me. And so he just so happened to use her to draw me closer uh, into him and into his presence. And so um, I see a lot of memes of people saying, I want church friends and um, this and that, but they run out of service so quickly. And so, like, it's funny to me because now on the other side, right, like, now I've made friends, church friends, if you will. And I see people running out, and it's just like trying to catch them, like, hey, 2 seconds. Like, don't, so it's just trying to catch those people and help them and want them to know like that friendship is important and it's an amazing place to be in. And so and to offer that, like, so I encourage people that have a church home or that don't, like, to take some time, stay just a quick second after church. If you see somebody serving and doing something, just get with them to help them do what they're doing before you go home. And it helps you to get to know people and it breaks the ice. And, helps you to grow as well in the kingdom. One of the reasons that I feel like the enemy is attacking friendship, or friendships are not thriving as much as possible, is just because negativity thrives in isolation. Um, when you're alone and you're spiraling by yourself, it's harder to pick yourself up and pull yourself out of the pit, right? It's harder to dig yourself out of a hole that you're in, versus a friend reaching down and helping you up, or putting in a ladder. And so I think in our current society, like there's a lot of us that really want to be alone and isolated. And I'm a loner and I'm an introvert and I don't like to, interact and engage and all of those kind of things. But I believe that humans are created to be social beings. And I mean, now I think it's okay to be alone. I think everybody needs their own time and all of that kind of stuff. But I think that um, I was talking to my husband today about our marriage, right? And us as a team. And so I think um, in group settings and team settings, you are much more successful than you are if you're in isolation. Like, two heads are better than one head. And, two people are better than just one person because you can get more accomplished and you can do more. And also, I think you need that outside um, evaluation. Like, you need somebody that can see your soul when you got your good fake smile on. And so I think, that's what I have in my community of friends. Like if I walk by them and honey, I got a good fake smile. Okay. Don't doubt my fake smile. It's pretty good. And I can walk by them and in normalcy and what I feel like is normal and give them my fake smile and they can just feel my energy or my just like your vibe is off. And so I think that we all need that because before you know it, you'll look up and your vibe been off for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years because you've been in isolation. And I think um that's why COVID was so hard. Oh my God. COVID was so hard on so many people, so many relationships. Um just because of the isolation of it all. Like it was cool at first, right? Like we never worked from home. We never, did certain things. Um, I think that it was cool in certain aspects in certain times. But us just being alone and being in isolation for an extended period of time, like really sent a lot of people into depression. And me being a social person, like it was tough. Like it was tough just being home all the time and finding your way. Like I was talking with my husband the other day about something, and like we only was using like 50% of our house before COVID. Like there was 3 rooms in our house, like no one ever entered, like no one ever seen, no one ever bothered to see. Like we was coming here, going to sleep, and being in the living room. Like that was pretty much the extent of the usage of our house. And so I am grateful now that, COVID has happened that has shown us like, to be more mindful of utilizing the different spaces in our house. But, um, that isolation is a killer. And so I think everything in moderation is good. Sometimes you just need some me time. Like it's okay to steal away and get some you time and get establish, get grounded, maybe have some time with God if that's, what you're looking for. But I think a time of extended isolation um, is not good for the mind. It's not good for the heart. It's not good for the soul. Like you need people that can lay eyes on you and know that something is off or um, you need help with something or you're struggling with something. Even if you don't verbalize it, like you need people in that inner circle that are close enough to be able to help with that and identify that. And so I feel like isolation is a direct contrast to friendship. I think it's important to be around people that know you, that can see you, the real you, even when you're hiding it. They can fill your cup when you're empty. Um, my pastor says they can push you, pull you, and promote you. I think it's very important to have people in your life that can do that and to build and create those relationships. And so I think we can't get so wrapped up in societal norms that we forget about the things that we need and the things that our souls need. And I really feel like and believe that, everybody needs some sort of friendship. Um, and so that's 9, maybe 10, I don't know, counting off a couple of well, I have 9 close friends, um, that fuel me and help me. 10 if you count my husband. I put him in the best friend category as well. Uh, and so you need that. You need that friendship to help you to grow and, uh, push you forward when you don't feel like going and get you up when you don't feel like getting up and, you know, just to hold you up. Sometimes you just need to be held up. Like you just don't feel like it. And so I'm appreciative of my friendship. Shout out to y'all. You better be watching. Oh, I'm appreciative of my friendships and hopefully and look forward to, this podcast being a space where you can be fulfilled in maybe some of those broken places that friendship has caused you and to help you to come to know that friendship is still possible, it's still available, it's still important, and it's still needed. to help you to help us, right? Because I'm not perfect. Help us to grow in that area and be the people that God has called us to be. Now, friend, I appreciate you for joining me on today on this wonderful birthday of mine. And I look forward to continuing to grow this channel with you and to grow our friendship. And so I'm just going to end with a word of prayer. And so, God, we thank you. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this time uh, of connection. And I pray, God, that this podcast does exactly what you planned for it to do. I pray that it reaches the audience that you're looking for it to reach, and that it touches each and every person in the right place. I pray for every person that has been broken, that has been hurt, that has been turned away, that has been lost, that has felt alone and lonely. I pray for their hearts and their minds. I pray that if they don't feel a friend in this world, that they would know, God, that you call them friend, that you love them, and that you care for them. And so I pray that this moment will resonate with them in a special way, that you would begin to reach out to them and wrap your arms around them and let them know that they are not alone, and that you created us all for a purpose. Lord, help us to walk in our purpose. Help us to be who you have called us to be, and help us to recognize and know who you are. Place divine friendships in each and every one of our lives, Lord, and help us to learn and become and do the work to become divine friends as well. And so we thank you and we love you. In Jesus' name, amen.